everybody, Aaron Blaze here. I got my grandson Aiden right here. He's joining us today. You hanging out today with us? You're gonna have fun? Are you nervous? You're a little bit nervous? You're talking to thousands of people out there. Well, we're gonna have a good time today. Actually, we got a busy weekend going on, so I actually have to run to the airport today at about 3:15 my time. We're going to be going to pick up my good friend Manny Carrasco, who some of you might know out there, an amazing wildlife artist.
I can't wait to see him.
And his girlfriend Lindsay, and we're going to hang out for the weekend and just catch up. We haven't seen each other since the whole coronavirus thing has happened.
I don't think I've seen him since Montana.
Yeah, which was a while ago.
That was like the first and last
time I saw him. That was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so I'm gonna be drawing some grizzly bears, animal portraits, and which reminds me, I've got I'll get back to that. We got Dustin on the other side of the camera.
Hi, my camera's not working. So
his camera's not working, yeah. And we've got Nick over in Sarasota, and he's going to be fielding questions as well. And but we've got all kinds of cool stuff. I got a really big announcement though. First of all, you guys know that I'm working on a figure drawing course that is focused on costumes and that sort of thing. That is still going on. In the meantime, I'm doing another course. We're trying to be busy this year. We're trying to crank out courses this year, and I'm actually getting another course done first. And this is a course, and this is something a lot of you have asked me about in the past. This is a course on how to draw good, clear expressions. So many people get caught up in the complexities of drawing, getting clear expressions, and through getting too complex, they lose the impact. And so I'm going to take you through my process of what I think about when we're drawing basically the 6 main expressions, which are joy and anger and sadness, anger, joy, fear, disgust, and surprise. It's all of that, plus the subtleties in between. We're going to talk about body language. We'll be talking about a lot of different things, because what it really boils down to is emotion. You want to make sure that the emotion of your character is coming through extremely clear so that it tells the story that your illustration or animation or painting or whatever it might be, so that can tell the story to the viewer. That's what's important. And so getting clear emotion is the most important thing. And so that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to be talking about expressions. I'm going to be talking about facial structure. I'm going to talk about the individual features of the face, how they work, and how they come together to make all the 250,000 or so expressions that we recognize as human beings. And so much of it, what I find fascinating, and the research that I've been doing for this course, is how much of it is intuitive. How much of it is actually we're born with as instinct, and we don't even realize. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So anyway, it's gonna be coming out March 19th, and it's gonna be 40% off for the pre-order. So you can go over to creatureartteacher.com today and pre-order it, and you're gonna get it 40% off. So it's gonna be a great course. It's it's right up there with my anatomy courses and character design courses. It's one of those courses that I think a lot of different disciplines can use, whether you're a figurative artist, a character designer, an animator, whatever you might be. I think this course will help you. I'm really excited about it. Dustin and I are just in the beginnings of getting it shot, and it's going to be a good one. So look for that March 19th, and you can get it for 40% off now in pre-order at creatureartteacher.com. So there's that. Also, I want to remind you that on March 20th, the day after March 19th, on March 20th, I've got my live event coming up on how to paint animal portraits in watercolor. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I just get to sit down and we just get to sling paint all over the place all day. You want to paint animal portraits with me on March 20th? Yeah, maybe, yeah, okay. You'll maybe grace me with your presence. You're awfully quiet right now. I'll tickle you. But anyway, so March 20th, we are gonna be doing our how to paint animal portraits live. So that's our live event. It's a 6-hour event. Go on over to creatureartteacher.com/live and you can get more information there, including the supply list that you're going to need. You don't need exactly everything on there, but it's all the supplies that I use while I'm painting. So it's good for you to probably have the same stuff. So I've got my books out. You know, my books are all in pre-order. I've got an Art of Aaron Blaze, my first Art of book. What's that? You're mumbling, kid. I can't hear you. But my Art of Aaron Blaze, my first volume, is coming out by June, and you can pre-order that as well at creatureartteacher.com. And my 100 drawings. That's the other one. So I've got too many announcements here. But 100 drawings, and that's also in pre-order. So going over to creatureartteacher.com for those. All right, dude, you got to get up. You got to let me draw. Can't draw with you on my lap. Say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
Come on over here. Say goodbye. Get on camera. There you go. All right. You can sit here if you want. You can sit in here and listen to us if you want. All right. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. All right. All right. Pre-order the books at creatureartteacher.com/books. Nick just reminded me. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Makes perfect sense.
So if you are interested in the books for pre-order, it is creatureartteacher.com/books. All right. Let's start drawing. Enough of this jibber jabber.
Let's get
no more jibber jabber. I got a furry bear to draw. I went through and pulled up some of my reference. There's this bear that I went out to Montana to photograph, and I just thought this was a neat little profile. I'm going to stylize it a little bit.
Are you going to try to copy that for art?
Yeah, I'm going to try to copy it a little bit, but I'm going to make it my own. I'm going to simplify the fur. I'm going to change the background. I really want him to glow and pop, so I'm going to make a nice dark background where he can really pop off the back. Thank you.
You knew it like in Butter. It's like in Butter Bear.
That's right.
It's like that cartoon.
It's going to be like Butter Bear.
It's like that cartoon style.
Yep, exactly.
Real quick, Tom Sender is asking, if I have the full website subscription, does that include the live event?
No, it does not, but it does give you a discount. The live event is not included in the your membership, but it does give you a discount, like I said. So I'm just we're gonna draw.
Start drawing.
We're gonna draw, boys.
Draw like there's no tomorrow.
I like to draw with really broad.
Well, I'm not gonna stay here forever, though.
Okay.
I might be here for a few more hours.
I like to draw with broad brushes in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to.
I want him to feel a little tired. I want to get the swirls of fur.
Rick Hunter's asking, do you have a video on how to use the lion or leopard for brushes?
I don't. I could make one.
Yeah, we could make a.
Those are really, those brushes were really experimental. Really experimental.
And Martin's asking, while Manny's here, will you do a video with Manny or
yeah,
or
well,
live stream?
we'll see if we have. If right now, you know, this whole trip for Manny and I is just meant to be a nice, relaxing. Hey, man, how you doing?
Not the moment he hops off the plane. I have a business proposition for you.
Hello, every common.
So I'm just drawing.
Okay, you talk.
Yeah, you gotta let me talk, Aiden. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going in really rough. I'm just trying to find all of my major masses, fur masses, all of that. There we go. See, it works better if you sing, Aiden. Hmm? It works better if you sing when you're drawing. You got to sing when you're drawing.
We need more questions.
Well, we probably got a quiet audience out there. There's probably not that many people out there yet. There you go. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. So you can pre-order Drawing Clear Expressions with Aaron Blaze for 40% off at creatureartteacher.com. That offer is ending soon. The actual course comes out March 19th. Let's make him like he's just gotten up. Maybe he's a little tired. That's right. March 21st is the end of winter, beginning of spring. March 21st or 20th, something like that. What are you laughing at?
Austin.
She
wrote in the chat. Hey, Dad, longtime follower, first time caller. What are you drawing?
Well, I'm drawing. Your son is here with me, and he's been introduced to the world. And we are drawing bears. That was Austin.
That was awesome.
Oh, we're gonna have so much fun.
Julia Own YouTube says, "Hi, Aaron. I became an annual member, and I've been taking your classes. You're an amazing teacher. So inspiring. Well, thank you. You're an amazing student."
Exactly.
What did you get for your birthday?
Lots of love.
Yeah, that's kind of all he really asks, usually.
I'd like to thank you to our artist being.
All right, so we got our little bear here scribbled in. Scribble, scribble. Now I'll just knock that back a little bit, and let's go ahead and let's tie it down a little bit.
Rick Hunter says, "Me again.
Hi,
I
Rick
got a
Hunter.
reply. I got a reply from. I just lost it for a minute here. From another fan before, but just asking. I'm following the watercolor course at the moment, and I'm having problems finding a good masking tape. Any brands you recommend? Thanks."
I have it right here. This is just called Artist Tape. Pro Artist Tape. Yeah, just go on. I ordered mine off of Amazon, and I've got like 5 rolls of it. But it's called Pro Artist Tape.
Let me get a focus on that.
Pro. Can you see it in there?
There we go.
Well, I love being a guest.
Pro Artist Tape. Yeah, anything that says Artist Tape is pretty good. I've used lots of different brands. They're expensive. That's the thing. I don't know why they're so expensive. It's like $10 a roll, you know, rather than masking tape, which is like
Just on
10 cents a roll.
Have you seen the Wellerman sea shanty video? That is so cool.
Yeah,
You could do a drawing about the lyrics in the future live streams.
that's a good idea, actually. Weren't you singing it?
I've listened to it a lot, and I have tried singing along with it a few times, but
Someone said, "What is your favorite scene in?"
scene. What's your favorite scene in Brother Bear?
I love the transformation.
Well,
Yeah, that's my
he's
favorite.
the one who made it.
Yeah, there's that. YouTube question. Hey, Aaron, have you ever used After Effects? I'm doing animation. I was thinking maybe it would be useful. I have barely touched After Effects. Dustin has used it a little bit. Nick uses it. I would never use it for myself for animation, but I know you can do stuff with it. I just use, because I'm a straight up 2D animator, I use a 2D animation software. Because I don't want to use a lot of tricks and stuff like you would get with After Effects.
Yeah, with After Effects, I don't know how to make anything from scratch. I just get templates off of websites and just kind of add
Aiden,
images
we're trying to talk, okay? There you go. It's okay. We gotta answer our questions.
And I can't sing the song right now because I don't have the lyrics right now.
But yeah, the Dustin uses After Effects a lot for our commercials. There we go.
Yep. But my go-to editing tool has to be Premiere Pro, though.
Yeah, mine too.
I use the After Effects just to, get those nice effects. But then after that, the music and the final bit of the learn more, creature art teacher, all that's added together in Premiere Pro.
Nick says After Effects is more aimed at titles and motion graphics. It's not really designed for character animation type stuff, although some people use it for that. See, this is why my screen is covered in little dried spots, like thousands of them. I spit on my screen so much when I talk. It's so gross. You should see my screen. It's just because I talk so much while we're doing these live streams. I've just got spit marks all over my screen.
And you should see the metal panels on my laptop is just all. It looks all gunky already.
It looks all bleh. It looks all.
All right. All right. All right.
Oh, did you take my picture?
Yeah. Just give this phone a try.
Aww. So here's the ridge of the nasal cavity. I'm getting that nice nose. See, let me show you. I just happen to have. Let me show you something. I just happen to have a grizzly bear. Oh, right here, grizzly bear skull right here. So that little bump on the nose that I'm drawing right here is this part right here. So that it comes down. You get the little bump on the nose, and the nose sits out here, the cartilage of the nose. Did we lose Aiden? Oh, he's right there. Hey, Aiden, how you doing? And so look how big this bear is. Can eat my head. Big grizzly bear skull.
Beauty.
Uh-oh. Here comes the other rugrat. Oh, there she is. Come here. Come here.
What happened?
Nothing happened. We know what happened. Here. Switch the camera. So this is my granddaughter, Avalon. Avalon, can you say hi to the camera? Say hello. Now she's gonna get shy.
Shy.
She goes, what happened? YouTube question. I am such a fan and have been mesmerized by your wonderful drawing. Can you explain the thinking behind starting with a ball or circle? It's probably a very obvious answer. You know what? It's first of all, drawing that way comes from starting to think of whatever you're drawing as basic shapes. And that's how I always started, you know, I started thinking about everything as a basic shape. But that over time kind of changed for me. It just kind of changed into me just habitually starting everything with a ball shape. But that ball represents the basic shape of the head, and you're building the features on top of that. That's what it comes down to.
If you could choose in which time and place to live, like ancient Greece or medieval ages in England, or with the Maya, for example, what would it be?
I want to live during the Neolithic age. I want to, back when they're doing cave paintings and there's woolly rhinos running across, you know. I've always wanted to go and see what it was like during that time. It's probably, I know it was tough going. I know that. But, you know, I've always, you know, living here in Florida, I've always wanted to see what it was like living here, because there were natives here 10,000 years ago in Florida. I'd love to see what it was like living here 10,000 years ago.
Do you also use a Dreamweaver for your artwork?
Dreamweaver, I believe. No. Is that Gary Wright? Dreamweaver? Is that Gary Wright that sang that?
I don't know. Let me see.
I can't even get that. I can't get that high anymore. Dreamweaver.
Gary Wright, yep.
We reach the morning sky. Gary Wright, baby. I know my 70s, man. That's my era. That's my era, baby. Dreamweaver is for building websites, not art. There you go. See, Nick knows it all. That's why we have such a successful, happy, smart business. Because we have Nick Birch, Steve Coleman, Dustin Blaze. So I'm basically trying to just indicate, on top of the masses that I indicated, now I'm throwing in a little bit of detail, indicating more spit on my screen, geez, indicating some general fur direction and texture.
Hello, I need to know what kind of graphic tablet is better, screen tablet or flat tablet to make 3D drawings?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand that question. 3D drawings, to me, every drawing is 3D if you're doing something that's representational. You think about it as 3D. And I'm not sure what you're asking about as far as the tablet goes.
What I think you're asking is like,
if it's a flat tablet that you're talking, like a regular like an this iPad. This is a tablet or display tablet. This is what this is. So it's a regular tablet or display tablet. I prefer my display tablet because I'm drawing directly on the surface and I get to see what I'm drawing rather than drawing and having to look at a screen someplace else to get my drawing. So that, to me, is better. It's more like a real drawing experience. So there you go. That's the way it is.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
But Robin and Walter, we just got here. Remember that?
The what?
But Walter, we just got here. Now, Robin. It's from the animation tour with Walter Cronkite and Robin Williams.
Oh, God, I haven't watched.
Man, you got to be careful here, Walter. You get a paper cut, you can lose a hand.
I haven't watched that in years. I can't remember.
I used to see it every day for 15 years. I saw it every day.
I'm sure you did.
Dreamweaver. I love that song.
Who taught you Photoshop?
Well, you see, it's like this.
Well,
Andy Harkness, who we had on as a guest several weeks ago, Andy Harkness was art directing a movie that I was co-directing. Andy and I are very good friends, and I wanted to start learning digital art because it was a CG film that we were starting to direct, and I figured I should at least start to learn to create digital art. And so I asked Disney to have Photoshop installed on my computer and a Cintiq, and they were gracious enough to provide that to me. And then I went to Andy Harkness, who's one of the art directors of Moana, by the way. So you've all seen his work, and so he started teaching me Photoshop and just showed me the basics, and then I kind of took it from there and just taught myself the rest of the way. See, with this guy, this bear, his fur kind of goes in every direction. So it's going to be an adventure to paint it.
hello, Aaron.
Hello!
Do you also draw on Adobe Illustrator? If yes, why do you prefer Photoshop?
I don't use Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is mostly vector based, and that gets under my skin a little bit. I don't like drawing with vector.
Did you try Illustrator before?
Many, many, many years ago, long before it's. I don't even know what it can do now. It might be perfect for doing what I do. I just haven't used it. I haven't touched it in probably 15 years. And there's more spit. And there you go.
Hi, Aaron. I have a somewhat more general question about drawing. When you draw, do you only touch the screen or paper with the pen, or do you also rest your hand on it as support? Which would be better?
I rest my hand right on just the way I would draw normally. Show the screen. Show the way I draw.
Yeah, he doesn't like
See? I just put my hand right on it and draw. Just like I would with a pencil. Just a pencil.
Just like a pencil.
Just like I would with a pencil. Reminds me of my granddaughter who you just met, little redhead that was in here. Whenever we ask her to do something, she'll go, "Just give me 1 second." It's pretty cute, I think. Of course, I'm her grandfather, so you got that. I'm a little biased.
Of course.
So as we get further down in here, the fur is going to get a little longer, much more coarse.
You got any questions up there from Nick?
Nope. Sounds like our audience is rather small. We got a small audience out there today, Dustin?
Seems that way. I'd say it's not big, but not small. It's like pretty good average.
You just told me nothing. It's not big, it's not small, it's pretty good average. There we go.
Everyone has their own method of digital painting. How do you come up with yours?
You know what? It's a combination of my traditional approach and and its own kind of evolution, I guess. Okay, Aiden, you gotta let us do our thing here, man. Boy. Come on, boy. So what I'm doing here is just laying in an undercoat. So like this, for instance, this is my, if I was working in oil or acrylic, this would be kind of a first step for me. Laying down a base tone. especially with acrylic. I do that with acrylic, except I go dark with it, and then I work lighter.
If you want a question, what is your favorite traffic sign?
Well,
Deer crossing?
soft shoulders.
Stop shoulders. You find your arm gets tired drawing in upward position versus drawing with the screen being flat?
No, I'm used to it. When the screen is flat, it hurts my old back. So I like working straight up. You know, I've been working like this at an easel for 40 years. So I'm used to it.
Also, do you find that the slickness of a tablet compared to the tooth of a paper throws you off?
No, not at all. No, I'm used to it. You know, it's every medium has its own feel, and I've kind of worked that way. I've kind of worked up to that with digital. And actually, this screen's got a little bit of tooth to it as well. YouTube question or Twitch question. Aaron, how much concept art was made on Beauty and the Beast? Thousands and thousands and thousands of images. A lot. More than I can express. Yeah, you know, there's probably more concept art done in the beginning of a film than any other time. I mean, there's just tons and tons of art. Because a lot of it's exploration, you know, you're trying to find that look. You're trying to find the thing that's, you know, to get the movie to look the right way, you know. And so it's a lot of, and that's a fun part of the film, you know, when you're just exploring and trying to find that thing that spark.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, what's going on?
What were the movies that you worked on that never made it to the screen? And how do they decide not to go on with the movie?
Well, I did one called King of the Elves, and that one we were having a lot of story problems. I was having some issues in my personal life regarding your mother and everything that you remember when she passed.
Of course.
And it was a big number of things, and we were having to. It was just the wrong time and the wrong set of circumstances, and so King of the Elves never got made. I got taken off the film and left Disney. A couple of other directors tried it for a while without any luck, and so that film went away. And then I came to Florida to work on a film called The Legend of Tembo, but in the process of making that film, the company went bankrupt. So I had some bad luck there for a little while.
You actually had other multiples of projects over at Domain.
Oh yeah, those were kind of in development. They were never greenlit. You know, the ones we're talking about here were greenlit projects.
Are you Team Godzilla or Team Kong?
You know, I got to go with Kong.
Well, I'm biased to Godzilla, so you know my answer.
Kong. So what I'm doing right now is I'm not putting in any shadow or light. I'm just putting in local color, which is that's the color of the fur, and that color varies, you know, all over the place. And so I'm just going through and adding that variation of color throughout.
Do you do art critiques?
No, not lately. I get a lot of requests for them, but I can't possibly do enough to hit everybody that wants them, and so I generally don't. Plus, we're so incredibly busy trying to create content for our website. Like me creating this new course for doing expressions, creating clear expressions, which is a great segue. If you guys are interested in creating, if you want to, if you ever have trouble, I should say, creating good, clear expressions, I'm working on a new course right now on just that, creating clear expressions, getting emotions across in the right way. And so going over to creatureartteacher.com and you can pre-order it for 40% off. And you'll be happy you did. But as far as going back to the question of whether I do critiques or not, we're going to try to in the future, but right now I'm so busy with some of our other projects, between getting courses done and trying to get Snow Bear done, which is another big one. We just don't have time to do it. Twitch question. Hi, Aaron. I'm really excited for the new expression classes. Can you share how long the course is? I love your content. I'm shooting for it to be about
24 hours.
It's not going to be a super long one. I'm shooting for it to be 8 to 10 hours.
Just enough for about a day's worth.
It may be more than that, but I'm shooting for 8 to 10 hours. Oh yeah, Nick is reminding me, and I agree. We're shooting to do 10 to 12 new courses a year now, plus live streams, producing shorts, and other projects. So it doesn't leave a ton of time for critiques. It's absolutely right. And that's the biggest thing I want to emphasize, is that our goal each year is to add 10 to 12 new courses to what we already have. So if you ever want to become a member, now's the time to do it, because you're going to really get a lot of content there. YouTube question. Have you ever attempted to make an animation in 3D in a program such as Maya? P.S. I love the videos. No, excuse me. No, I haven't. I've never learned Maya. I tried at one time while I was directing another movie, and it just turned out I didn't have time to do it, and so I never learned it. And to be honest, I've had a hard time kind of giving up. Not giving up, because I know I don't have to give it up, but I've never really gotten away from my 2D animation. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a layer on top. Actually, I'm going to do another layer right here. Let's do.
Did you ever put your drawings from the other day up for auction somewhere?
So I'm creating a clipping mask. No, we haven't done it yet, but we will be. Oh, we will be.
Oh, we will.
We will. Oh, so Nick is reminding me that the annual membership is 30% off right now. And that's actually going to end tonight. So all this content that we're creating, we're going to create, like I said, 10 to 12 new courses coming up. We've got courses in layout coming up. We've got courses in how to create your own children's book. We've got courses on expressions that are going to be coming up. I've got a course that I'm going to be doing on figure drawing with a focus on costumes and fabric and how that affects the posing. So we've got a lot of stuff, and that's just to name a few.
And I even got one in the works too.
And Dustin has one on a beginner's approach to photography. So we've got some really cool stuff. Let me put that to multiply. So I'm going in right now. I've got this set to multiply, and I'm going in to add shadows.
For the scholarship, how many pieces of artwork should be submitted for the scholarship thing?
Enough for us to get a good general knowledge, a feel for your abilities. There is no set number, but you certainly don't want to put everything in there. Put only your best, but you don't want it to be too sparse either. So, 10 to 20 pieces if you're doing fine art or illustration. A couple of different reels for animation. Some of the stuff should show good acting. I don't want to see just like walk cycles and things like that. I want to see more than that. But also, you know, a big part of it too is I want to hear your story. You know, I want to see people that are good artists, but I also want to see, you know, what have you gone through? What's going on with your in your world in order to get to art school? You know, I when I got all my scholarships, I was really struggling to uh, you know, pull together the money that I needed in order to go to school. And I was very lucky to have people come to my aid and help me out. And this is what we're trying to do with the scholarships.
What do you feel is the largest benefit is for putting down local color before lighting your subject?
Well, in the case of digital painting, it just breaks up the thinking process. It allows me to think of one thing at a time. Like I can just think of the local color, then I go in and I set my layer to multiply the next one, and I can just kind of worry about shadow and finding the form. And then the next layer, I set that blend mode to overlay, and I can just think about light. And so that's what this allows me to do, which is something completely different than traditional. You know, you got to think about, unless actually I do an element of painting this way in watercolor, because I'll paint the shadows afterwards and right over the local color. So there is bits of this that cross over. Twitch question. Hi, Aaron. I'm a beginner animator and I don't know what is the best way to start. What do you recommend? Well, I think you should get a course, and I'm not just pushing my courses, because I really needed the help when I started out. I've got a course on an introduction to animation on my website, and I really recommend it because I talk about all the 12 principles of animation, you know, appeal, stretch, squash, overlap, all these different things. And once you understand those, it really gives you a big leg up on getting your own animation done. And then from there, I talk about, I've got another course that talks about my approach just to animating a shot and, you know, all the stuff that goes into it. I've got acting for animation. So there's definitely a progression that you can go through on there. And you don't necessarily have to have, do it digitally. You can do it on paper if you want, if you have all the right materials. So, you know, it's not software dependent or materials dependent, I should say. YouTube question. Hi, sir. Quick question. What are your criteria in choosing the shades of colors in shading and lighting? Is it random or carefully chosen? All love from Saudi Arabia. Well, in this case, I'm trying to, because I'm working in multiply, I've found that if I try to do cool colors for shadows, and I've got warm fur, like say this fur here, it grays out the shadows, makes them too gray. So what I try to do instead is I keep my shadows warm when I'm working in multiply like this, and then I go with opaque color and go in with cooler versions and darker versions later on, and it keeps the color more pure. So it is very carefully thought out. So if this bear had different colored fur, like cooler colored fur, then the shadow colors that I would choose in multiply would be different. But I keep it this way, that way it keeps the shadows rich even though they're warm. Right now I can go in and with opaque color I can paint in cooler colors, which is what I'm going to do actually.
Questions for Dustin. You have shared some amazing photos on your Facebook page. Thank you. Recently, can we use these as reference photos to draw or paint from? If yes, can we also post your art as long as we give you credit for the reference on the posts? Do we need to message you for specific permissions on individual photos? You are allowed to use them, yeah, just as long as you give credit where credit is due in the post, then yeah, it's perfectly fine.
And as long as you're not selling your work.
Exactly, that too. But if you use one of my references from my photo pack that is on creatureartteacher.com, which I do have all Florida gators and Florida different variants of Florida birds in the reference pack. If you use one of those photos, those are not copyright, or you'll own the copyrights.
Yeah, because you're buying the pack.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's one thing you got to be careful of is young artists that a lot of artists or young artists don't realize, photographers, that's their business. And so a lot of people will take, work right off the internet and use it as reference, straight up copy it a lot of times, and then sell the work as their own. And meanwhile, you've got a photographer who actually went out, spent the time to photograph that image and capture that image, who gets nothing out of the deal. So that's why I'm always stressing, if you're going to do work that you're going to make money from, it pays to become a pretty decent photographer too, especially if you're doing illustration, representational work, painting, that sort of thing, so that you can shoot your own reference. I got into photography years and years ago for that reason.
Will you ever have 3D animation courses on Creature Art?
Yes. Hey, Avalon, what's wrong? Your pillows. Can you hear? Your pillows?
Is your pen set to pressure sensitivity, or are you painting opaque colors?
It's set to pressure sensitivity. So I'm just painting in. I'm really following the contours of the fur, and more importantly, I'm thinking about under the fur. I'm thinking, even though I've got a photograph, I always think about what's actually happening under there. Don't trust the photograph. The photograph will lie to you a lot of times, and so I think about the actual anatomy and try to make sure I'm being truthful to the anatomy that's there, that I know is there.
Do you do scholarships for art teachers?
Do I do scholarships for art teachers? We're doing scholarships for anyone that needs a scholarship. You know what? Send us in a portfolio and tell us your story.
When will the photography course by Dustin come out?
Sounds like there's a little interest there, Dustin.
Oh, there's always been interest.
Just shut me up. Huh?
We'll put you down. No, but I'm planning to get the ball rolling officially sometime in the next couple of weeks, basically next month. Like, I've already got like the very basic script of what the episodes are going to be laid out, but I won't go into more detail of what I want to present in each of those episodes. So that's where I'm currently at right now. So
we actually take quite a bit of time. Quite a bit of time,
don't we?
to plan our courses out.
Yeah.
And when I do courses on, say, expressions and things like that, I actually do a lot of research. You should see all the books I've ordered over the last couple of weeks on the meaning of body language and expressions and the muscles of the face and all this kind of stuff. This is all stuff that I research before I do the course.
I mean, heck, the Birds of Prey course, it took so long because not only did we do a bunch of episodes, but also there was a bunch of research involved in between.
Well, see, I've already got my method for my approach to expressions and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to go more in depth and say, okay, well, why is it this way, and why do I do it this way, and that sort of thing. I'm gonna change the brush.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
My dream is to create my own animation studio someday. Do you have
Don't
any
do it.
advice? Don't do it. There's your advice.
There's your advice. Don't do it. You know, creating your own animation studio is really tough because a lot of people think only about the creative, but there's so much of the financial that is really hard to sustain. You know, there's a lot of overhead that goes into creating an animation studio, whether it's, you know, just the power to keep it on and you know, all the supplies that it's going to take and the software if you're doing digital work.
And also all the creative decisions you have to make.
Yeah.
Because at that point it's not just creativity, but it's also budget. Like how much can your studio provide?
I mean, the take a good course in business. That would be my advice to you. Forget the art. Everyone knows you have to have good art. What a lot of people aren't told is how much business they need to know. And I wish that was taught at school a little bit more.
And to the latecomers, are you using a reference for this bear, or did you just draw this from your head?
Normally I would draw something like this from my head, but I do have a reference today.
A reference.
Here, I'll show it to you. A reference. I'm changing it up a little bit. But there he is, that big hairy guy.
So cute. How do you price your art?
High. I price it according to demand, time that I put into it, that sort of thing. You know, I'm able to get a little bit higher price on my art than before because of demand and having been out there for a while, so I'm lucky in that. But it's taken a while, you know. When I first started out, I wasn't able to get very much for my work, but it was enough to keep me going. So we are painting in the shadow shapes right now, and I'm doing this. Oh, by the way, these not this one. Actually, I take that back. You can't get this brush on my website. You can't. This is my friend's brush. I'm mumbling. Mumbler!
Mumbler! Are there plans to come out with a creature art teacher app for Roku? So classes can be streamed on a TV?
Oh. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Not right now, no. Not on Roku. We do have stuff on Apple. You can stream it on Apple. Is that right, Nick? Am I saying that right? Why did Brother Bear take place in the Ice Age? Because we don't have a lot of cultural information about the Ice Age. And so I wanted to set it far enough back that we kind of knew basically where and how they lived day to day. But my goodness. Holy cow, that was huge. But we didn't really know culturally, you know, what they were all about. And I wanted to be able to have enough leeway to invent that culture. And so that's why we set it in the Ice Age, so that we could invent it and we weren't offending any, you know, native or any modern native cultures. But we did very strongly derive some influence from, you know, Athabascan culture and Inuit culture. We blended them together and then created our own Ice Age culture that way. Nick says, actually, we do plan on the app being on Roku. Wow, I didn't realize that. Hopefully before the end of the year. We're in the process of a major update and then porting it into other platforms. See, this is why Nick and I are partners. For the person that asked about creating your own studio, make sure you team up with the right partner.
Have you tried Blender?
No. I ain't never tried it. I ain't never tried Blender.
You ain't never tried Blender?
No, I ain't never tried it.
What's wrong with you?
I've heard about it. I've heard about Blender.
You heard about that?
I've heard about Blender.
You heard about Blender?
Yeah, I just never tried it. Speaking of talking like this, we got Manny Carrasco coming to visit from Montana.
Bozeman, Montana.
From Bozeman, Montana. Actually, he's not. He's from Salt Lake City, Utah. Actually, he's from Austin, Texas.
Austin.
But he lives in Salt Lake City now. So, painting and texture. Texture. Follow-up question. So, why didn't other Ice Age animals appear in the movie? Because I didn't want it to be about that. I mean, we had mammoths in there, but it was really about bears. And so that's why, really. You got to remember, you know, creating characters and getting them in a film, especially an animated film, that all costs money. It's man hours to design them, animate them, all of that. And so if they're not integral to the story, a lot of times we really think about, okay, is it super important to have this character in here because it's going to take a hit on our budget in order to do it. And so you gotta think about those types of things. I remember at one time we were about $100,000 over budget in the salmon run section because of effects. You know, all the water and the splashes and all of that. And so you have to figure out, okay, how are we going to save $100,000? Well, we went in and we played out all the scenes, not all of them, but a lot of the scenes, we played them out the same way, but we just framed them up a little higher so that you couldn't see the water. And then we just used water sound effects. So you could hear them splashing, but you don't see the splashes as they're moving around. And we just did that in key scenes or certain scenes where we really didn't need the the visual effect of water, and it it saved us $100,000 in man hours because effects animation it's time consuming. So it's things like that as a director you're involved in, not just the creative aspect, but you also have to get creative on how to save money on your budget. That's a big part of making animated films for studios. And for yourself, too. Because it takes time and money.
Have you ever tried to do some art on leather? I don't know the right word, what it's called. It's like doing pictures or something in the leather with a sort of tiny hammer.
Yeah, no, I haven't done that. Because you can carve in leather as well. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good. We're not even an hour in.
That's 1:58.
So once again, I want to remind you, we've got a really great course coming up. It's going to be coming out March 19th on how to draw clear expressions. This is something that I struggled with in the early days of my career as a young artist. And I really learned a lot from senior animators like Glenn Keane and Mark Henn, who taught me along the way how to create expressions that were clear. Because, as an animator, it's really about getting the emotion across, right? And if you can't get emotion across without understanding expressions, that's our way of emoting to one another. And so much of it is instinctive. It's instinctual. We automatically know the cues. Some of it is socially taught. You got to learn the social cues, and there's social things from culture to culture that change. But by and large, there are, the scrunched eyes for anger and the smile for happiness. Those are instinctive. They're instinctual. You don't learn those things. But you have to learn them as an artist to be able to get them across clearly. So that's what I'm going to be teaching you in this course on how to draw clear expressions. And what are their meanings? The simplicity, the simpler you can create an expression, the more clear it's going to be. It's things like that. So I'm going to go to overlay now, And we're going to create light. We're going to create some light on here, on this guy, with my brush.
Hello, Aaron and son.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, my daughter is now 11 years old and wants to transition to digital tablets. She has been doing traditional since 4. Is this too soon?
Say it one more time.
My daughter is now 11 years old and wants to transition to digital tablets. She's been doing traditional art since 4. Is this too soon?
You know, I don't think it's too soon. I think it's always good to learn other mediums. As long as she doesn't leave, I think at that age she should still be experimenting and trying different things. It's okay to learn digital at the age of 11. I don't see any problem with it, as long as she's still experimenting with other mediums. At that age, your brain is so malleable that the more experimentation she can do from an artistic standpoint, the more broad her horizons will be as her brain becomes a little bit less malleable. I mean, she'll really, at that age, she'll excel trying different mediums.
How many times did you answer a question with 7?
7.
There you go. Is there a way to paint properly without pre-made brushes? I'm not sure you answered it. So I think talking about the fur brush.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it now. If you're talking about, is there a way to do it properly without using fur brushes? Is that what they're asking?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing it now. I'm not using fur brushes. I'm creating fur text. This is how I would do it if I was painting in watercolor or pencil, acrylic. You know, I start with big masses and then work toward the detail.
Did you consider some other different endings for Brother Bear? Like, are there any alternate endings?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's an ending that we had. I actually storyboarded it, where Grizz follows Kenai up the mountain. Well, I tell you, first of all, Coda. Originally, Grizz was Kenai's friend. Coda didn't exist. Coda we wrote into the story later on, and so Grizz, the voice of Michael Clark Duncan, he was the original friend that Kenai befriends, and it turns out that the bear he killed on the glacier was Grizz's brother, not Coda's mother. And so they have a big fight, and he takes off and he goes up the mountain just like he did with Coda. But then Grizz sees that there's a hunter after Kenai, and he decides, you know what? He's a different guy now, and I'm going to save him because knowing, he's learned his lesson, and so I'm going to save him from this hunter because the hunter's going to kill him. So Grizz goes up there, and just right before Kenai's about to be killed by the hunter, by his brother, Grizz stops him and actually mortally wounds the hunter, who it turns out to be Denahi. And so Denahi actually dies in Kenai's arms. I know, super heavy for a kid's animated movie. One of the reasons why we changed it. But I like the drama of it. And the way I boarded it, actually, I was able to get a few tears in the audience. But and so Denahi dies in Kenai's arms, and so that's when Kenai says, "No," he yells to the great spirits, "It's not supposed to be like this." And he goes, "Bring him back. Leave me a bear. I don't care. Bring him back." And so Kenai trades his human form, becoming human again, in order for Kenai, or for Sitka, not Sitka, Denahi, for Denahi to come back to life. And so he trades, that's how I think we ended up with a better ending with him, with Coda. I think it was more meaningful. Because when he was begging for his brother's life, it was more out of desperation. And when he traded his human form for Coda, it was more out of responsibility. So it worked better. But yeah, that was a long-winded answer to that. We had a lot of different, we had some different endings in there. You know, that's the whole nature of making these films, is that they get written and rewritten and rewritten, and we keep making them until they're right. So often, you know, it's something that John Lasseter used to say, is that we never stop making these movies, we just get them released. Because at some point you gotta let them go. But if we were given our druthers, we'd keep working them and working them. You know, it's like anything else. At some point you gotta let it go. Twitch question: why wouldn't you use it? Fur brushes quickens the time and gets the same effect. No, it doesn't get the same effect. You can make your own fur brushes if you don't like Photoshop or any art programs. You can get an effect. You can get almost a photographic effect, but you don't get a painterly effect like I'm doing here. And it's not quite as random. But I've done stuff that, you know, I've created fur brushes where I was able to, you know, for photographic effects, and then we've got them for sale on the site. And it shortens the time. But I like the act of coming through and actually doing it in a more traditional way, rather than using the fur brushes. So here I'm painting in light, and about this time I think it's time to get some darkness in the background so we can see I want to go kind of orange. I'm going to go cool with it, maybe turquoise, so we can see the true value of what's in the background. So once again, my expressions course is coming out March 19th. My course on how to draw clear expressions. If you ever have struggled with it, and I know I did in the early days of my work, I really didn't understand how to get across good, clear expressions. And but I've spent the last 30 plus years working that out. And if that's something you've ever struggled with, then go to creatureartteacher.com. You can get this course pre-order. It's coming out March 19th. You can pre-order it. There we go. For 40% off. And I'm going to take you through everything I know about creating good, clear expressions.
What would your advice for someone who wants to talk about sensitive subjects in his story, like strong political issues or religion, etc.?
Say that again?
What would be your advice for someone who wants to talk about sensitive subjects in his story, like strong political issues, religion, etc.?
No one wants to have it pounded over their head. I always feel strongly about putting across a social message, but I'm also aware that if you pound it over the head too hard, people are going to tune out. And you want to be able to talk to everybody. So if you can do it in a way that you're going to get everybody, whether you have a conservative message or a liberal message or something that's not either, but you know, either way, you want to be able to capture everyone's attention without turning them off at the beginning. So my only advice is just to be careful of how hard you hit it over the head. And this is stuff we used to talk about at Disney as well, because we always have some kind of moral that we're trying to get across. And if you start hitting those messages too heavy, it starts to become preachy, and people don't want to be preached to.
Are there any art styles that you'd want to do or try? Any art styles that you haven't done yet?
There's lots, and I mean, I don't even know where to start. Whoops. Doggone it.
Do you have other featuring artists in your courses?
Yes. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Dustin. Yes, we've got a lot of other artists on our in our lineup. That's one of the things I get excited about. A lot of guys I used to work with at Disney, Digital Domain. They're all people that I've worked with in the past, and really excited to be to have them on. What do you think of Sheridan College in Canada? I think it's a great school. I haven't really been associated with them lately, not in the last few years, but I do know that they are a very strong animation school. My directing partner and many of my friends went to Sheridan, and so I know of it. I know of it being a great school. Twitch comment, seems to me the hardest thing for non-artists to draw is a frog. I've asked family and friends throughout my life to try and draw one. It's hilarious. Why is this? I have no idea. I think they might get messed up with the legs. One of the most interesting experiments is people that claim they don't need reference or anything like that, or always balk at people that use reference. Ask them to draw a bicycle. Because everyone goes, oh yeah, of course I can draw a bicycle. Yeah, sit down and draw a bicycle the way that the bars work, the gears, everything. Just have them draw a bicycle, how the pedals attach to the chain and all that. Just a regular bicycle. And you're going to find that people really struggle with that. It's interesting. So what I'm doing now is I'm going in and deepening the shadows, some of the negative spaces in between the fur. Why couldn't Kenai stay as a human and Coda change into a human? You know what? I don't think that's as fun. And the whole idea is that the message is that, it's not better to be a human or better to be a bear. It's more important to take care of, the one that you love, which is this brotherhood that they created. And so for Kenai to stay a bear, it shows more about his love and his willingness to maybe not sacrifice, because we didn't want it to feel like a sacrifice, but him willing to give up a life that he knew for someone that he's come to care for. For Coda to give everything up, it didn't have the right message. It needed to be Kenai to make his sacrifice. The movie is about Kenai. Joe on YouTube asks, would you have any tips on running and flowing hair? Yes. You want to make sure you think about, running with flowing hair is all about secondary action, overlap. Okay? So it's got to follow the action, obviously, that the body is doing. And that hair, it depends on what kind of hair is it. Is it curly hair? Is it straight hair? Is it afro? Is it, it could be any number of types of hair. They're all going to have overlap. They're all going to have some kind of flow to it, follow through, but all in different degrees.
Will you talk about the facial muscles in your new expressions course?
Yes, I am. I'm going to talk about that. I'm talking about even, before you get to the muscles, I'm going to be talking about the bone structure, all of that. I want you to understand how a face is making the expressions, because when you understand how it's being made, then you can create them more accurately. If you understand how those muscles are contracting and where they're pulling from, then you'll know where to exaggerate.
Gabby's here, says, well,
Gabby!
howdy, y'all.
How's it going, Gabster? The Gabster.
The Gabster. And Tom Sender asks, a chance of a Rut and Took movie. That would be an awesome stoner movie.
You know what? I don't think there'll ever be a Rut and Took movie.
How's it going, Harry?
You know, one of the most fun things we did is when the DVD came out. There's always kind of tradition that the directors would do a director commentary, you know, about the making of and all the stories. And Bob and I at the time, we just felt it was a little pompous for us to sit there and go, you know, just who wants to sit there and listen to us talk for 2 hours? But we thought it would be a lot funnier if Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas did it as the Moose, and so did their own commentary and talked about the stories of making the movie, and so that's what we did, and I think it came out pretty cool. So I'm still adding deeper shadows. Yeah, Nick says he already made it. Go watch Strange Brew. Yeah, exactly. It is a perfect stoner movie. So notice that one of the things I'm doing is going in and painting in little negative shapes with deeper shadows, and it pops that fur out a little bit, you see?
Do you have a course about drawing crocodiles, snakes, lizards, and reptiles?
I don't. No, I don't have that yet, and we're going to be working on that. We're going to be hitting reptiles and all that sort of thing. Very excited. I'm buying a new house down south of here. We're going to be moving in the next couple of months, and we're moving near Wekiva State Park, and lots of springs and lots of alligators, really great kayaking right in my backyard. I'm really excited about all that. So we'll have plenty of reference that we can pull right in my backyard for future courses and live streams and all kinds of cool stuff. So I know I sound like a broken record, but if you want to go over to creatureartteacher.com, you can get my course on how to draw clear expressions in pre-order. You're going to save a ton of money by getting it now. It comes out March 19th, but grab it now. It's going to save you 40%. And it's basically me talking about my experiences and kind of my methods for creating good, clear expressions, you know, methods that I've learned over the years. And it really comes down to thinking about, you know, the eyes. How do the eyes fit into the socket? How do they change shape depending on, you know, the expression that's being expressed?
How many pre-orders do you have in your book so far?
4. A lot.
7.
A lot. We've got I don't know the exact number, but I know we've got a lot. And by the way, Nick and I have, as of last week, or this week actually, as of this week, we have picked all of the art that is going into the book. We meet once or twice a week. We've been doing this consistently for the last couple months. And we've gotten it all down to 225 pieces of art out of the, I don't know how many we had to begin with. And now it's we're starting the layout process.
So you've already asked, you've already talked about this, getting on late today, but how would you suggest studying animal anatomy or even human anatomy?
Well, I mean, I don't know why you're asking that question. We are living in the age of information. There's so many different ways that you could study those subjects. You know, there's first of all, start with Google, and you know, go out and figure draw, and you know, draw animals from life, draw people from life. But there's so much you can just download to get the actual academic stuff. But then when it comes to actually understanding it from a practical terms, getting in there and drawing from life is your best bet. You know, I think downloading information regarding muscle structures and skeletal structures and things like that, that's really great, and I highly recommended that you do that. But then put it to practical use by going out and drawing from life, and then when you're drawing from life, now all of a sudden you're going to understand what it is that you're drawing because you know it's underneath. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Basically, just do it. Just do it. And also, you know, we've got an entire course on how to draw human anatomy. I've got an entire course that I put together a couple of years ago. It's one of our more popular courses, actually.
What are all your questions again?
I'm working on these deeper, darker shadows. And then once I get this done, we're going to do some opaque color right over the top. I'm actually liking this one, how it's coming out. What do you think? What do you think, boy?
Yeah.
Boy? Boy?
Yeah.
One of the things I haven't done today that I usually like to do is just flop it. See how it looks flopped. And then I'll work on it flopped for a little while. The reason I do that is I start to see it in a new light, and any kind of mistakes or weird drawing things will show up.
How do you create a background that doesn't affect your other layers?
You just put it on. You put it on its own layer. I guess. I mean, I don't know how to answer that other than just put it on its own layer. Is that what they're asking?
Well, the rest of it says, whenever I use the quote unquote multiply on layer 2 or 3, it always is affected by whatever my color, whatever the color of my background is.
Well, you have to have an opaque layer underneath. You can't, like my local color that I put down here, that's opaque. The blend mode is just normal. I'm not setting that, because if I take this and I set it to multiply, like this, if I go multiply, see how it gets completely affected by the background?
Uh-huh.
So I got to make sure that it's normal. Oops, wrong layer. Drawing on the wrong layer. Drawing on the wrong layer.
Working on the wrong layer. How's the COVID situation where you are?
Well,
We're still.
you see, it's like this. My stepdaughter, my oldest stepdaughter, who she works at a Goodwill, came home sick about a month ago and tested positive for COVID. So everyone was quarantined. I went out and got tested that day immediately and was clean. So was Vedanta. So we had to basically just keep our distance and wear masks in the house. And so she quarantined, our daughter quarantined for 2 weeks in her room. And and then went out. I think it was last week. She went and got tested, and she's clean now. And so she's gone back to work, and everything's back to normal. But yeah, we had it in our house. We had the COVID. But like I said, I immediately got tested and was cleared that day. So it takes a while to get these shadows done, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm doing it in the way that I'm doing it is I want to make sure that I'm staying within the, I'm trying to create random directions, but also generally the same direction as the fur would grow. But I'm trying to keep, it all kind of random so it feels like fur. When working at Disney as an animator, were there any consequences if you were absent when a film was in animation process, like sick days? If so, what would you have to do? No, I mean, it's like any other job. If you're sick, you don't come to work. They don't want you there. You don't want to get other people sick. But, like during crunch time when, we had to get that movie done and out, there was no, if people were sick, they were sick. But if, there's no vacation, nobody was getting approval on vacations or things like that. We never took a vacation during crunch time. Everybody was there. Everybody was working. And you were there till it was done. And usually our crunch times would last about 6 months. And then you'd get it done, you get it out the door, and then everybody went on vacation. I remember when I did Brother Bear, I had a 6-month sabbatical in my contract. So I was able to, just take 6 months off paid and just recharge my batteries. It took 6 years to make Brother Bear. And but 6 months was, once I started doing it, I realized it was too much. So I only took 3 months off. But it was basically like a 3-month vacation. I lived on a lake at the time. So I was out every day in my boat and relaxing and drawing and painting. And so it was nice respite.
Off topic, but any tips on how to keep your art studio organized when working in small space?
Nope, because I'm the worst. If you can see my office right now, you go, nope, that's the wrong guy to ask. I am a slob.
We try to organize it, but...
And no, we do. We get it organized, but it doesn't last.
Yeah.
I've got a bag of apples on the floor. I've got underwear over here. I've got empty cans all over the place over there. Box of chocolate. There's a Diet Coke from a month ago.
Yep. I noticed that on the highlights, the hair isn't as textured. Is this just because it's a quick drawing?
Yes. And I haven't gotten into the highlights yet. That's on the right side over here. I'm going to end up with more. So we've been at it for an hour and a half. And the next pass that I'm going to do on this is really going to make it sing. It's going to really pull it together. That's the opaque. It's where I start putting in the reflected light, the highlights. It's all the little details that really pop it. Pop it.
Which animal do you find the hardest to draw, and why would that be? Or is there
Elephants.
any animal you...
Elephants.
Elephant?
Yeah, just elephants. Draw an elephant out of your head. Make it accurate. There's a lot of stuff going on with elephants. But you know what? All animals are... There's no such thing as easy animals to draw unless you're drawing a worm.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you want to draw an accurate worm, it's not easy. And so it's like animation. There's no such thing as easy animation. There's just animation that's less hard. It's all hard. Drawing is hard. It's like life, man. Life's hard. Or it's as hard as you make it. Let's put it that way. Because I can struggle with my art, but once I relax and just, hey man, just let it happen. Just get in there and just let it flow. Just like life. Yeah, just like life. You just go with the grain. Just
with the grain.
Just go with life.
With the grain.
With the grain. So you'll notice he's starting to feel really super furry, but I'm not drawing individual fur. I'm not drawing any of that anywhere. I've drawn around it, and I'm just creating some textures very quickly. Sounds like your workspace mess is unbearable.
Does Dustin get hazard pay for messy studio conditions?
Yes. I read this joke the other day. It's a little off color, sorry. Guy walks into an Apple store and he farts and he says, "Sorry, you don't have windows."
Nice.
Kind of I abbreviated the joke, but there you go. All right, so is Tanana Kenai's grandmother? No, she's not his grandmother. She's just more of she's kind of the wise woman, the matriarch. She's the matriarch of the group. And we found, a lot of the Northwest Indians were matriarchal. Families were determined by the mother, not the men. In a lot of societies now, it's, you take your father's last name and things like that. But in a lot of the Northwest, in North America, the Northwest Indians, they took their mother's names because there is no doubt who you came from when you're born from your mother. But sometimes you might not have the father that you think you have. So they always found that it was more accurate from a lineage standpoint to carry your mother's name, which I find really cool.
Pretty cool stuff. In your Photoshop lesson that you sell on your website, does it go over how to use backgrounds and how to use layers and stuff like that? Or is it more about brushes, color, and other stuff?
No, it covers everything. It covers everything that I do.
Everything you need to know.
Yep. Also, I want to mention that my next live workshop event is going to be March 20th. So I'm going to be painting in watercolor. You can join me. And I'm going to be painting animal portraits. We're going to paint all day. Something I really love doing. And that's why I love doing these workshops, because it's like, all right, what do I want to teach for 6 hours? Something I love. Oh, I'll paint animals for a day. So that's what I love about doing this stuff. And so that's going to be March 20th. Go to creatureartteacher.com/live and you can get more information there. It's going to be a fun day. We've got a supply list there. Everything you need. All right, so We're getting in there. I'm getting some nice fur textures. I'm going to put a layer on top now again. Oh, did it go there? No, it didn't go. There we go. I'm going to put this guy on top. I'm going to set it to overlay. But this time what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get some nice rich color in some of these areas. I feel like it's gotten a little grayed out. So what I'm going to do is just, there we go. Just hit it a little bit with some nice rich color. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Get a little bit more light underneath. Maybe indicate some actually make it more green. Wonder what it's going to look like if I do this. Make it feel like it's bounced light coming off the grass. Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm making it, it's a little strong. It's a little strong, so I'm going to tone it down a hair. There we go. That feels kind of cool. Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, Dustin, that would have been a great time to show the slide. Yeah. You know, I was talking about the live event.
Yeah, I did show the slide.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And Nick, I didn't realize. All right, so now we've got our basic, this is kind of the basic setup. So now I'm going to go in and just hit a few areas with some details, and that should generally, with some tweaking here and there, be it. So I'm going to grab my drawing brush that I usually use, and I want to let's go a little brighter.
Have you ever seen anyone bounce back from extreme burnout?
Oh yeah.
Look who's back.
Hey, bud. From extreme burnout? Yeah, look at Spicoli from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He bounced back. So I'm going in and just hitting highlights in areas here. And cleaning up some of the edges. Giving it a little bit of reflected light. There we go. Slide didn't come up, Nick said.
I thought I did.
Oh, don't worry about it. I don't need to dwell on it.
Have you saved your work?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Not yet. There, so you can see these really kind of add the finishing touches. Let's go to YouTube. YouTube videos. There we go. I'm gonna live stream images. Isn't that what it is, Nick?
What is?
Where we save our live stream images. That's where I'm saving it. And it is Grizzly. Oh, that's a Grizzly image. Grizzly live.
Live. How do you keep all the program panels and pop-up windows from the program on the screen you're working on? When I'm on my Cintiq panels, or when I'm on my Cintiq, the panels will open up on my laptop, and I'm looking everywhere for the hidden panels.
I don't know.
What if you drew a bear and gave it antlers? Or perhaps ram horns?
It would look like a bear with antlers. We're not putting antlers on this one. This is a real bear today that we're drawing. So now I'm just going to go back and forth and just hit all of the little details I want to get in here. There. And I'm really going to have, I want the focus to be right on, in this face here. So I'm going to put a little extra detail in here. But this is really the only time where I'm really kind of drawing individual fur, little bits of fur that are picking up light. Hi, Aaron. I've just got the membership to your courses. I was wondering which is the best for beginners in drawing and art in general. There's so many to choose from, and they all look amazing. I would recommend taking the anatomy course. There's actually an introduction to drawing from Ronnie Williford that's really great. The anatomy course, the character design course is great to start with. There's any number of them, really. Just get in there and start. And thanks for doing it. Thanks for signing up.
Do you ever abandon projects, or would you leave them for a while to come back to?
Oh yeah, all the time. But I always try to make, especially if it's a project that I believe in, I always try to make sure I get back to it. You know, like Snow Bear. We've been working on Snow Bear for 4 years, trying to get that sucker done.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been a while since I have last drawn on Snow Bear.
So these are all the little details right here. Look at that bear.
Look at that bear.
Look at that bear.
Oh, beautiful bear. Will you be doing a business for artists course? How to price work, how to balance creative time versus clerical work, things like that?
No. I won't. But we may have someone come in to teach something like that. I think it's a great course. I think it's something that's needed in the industry. So many people don't know how to approach their work in that way.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
How's everyone feeling? Specifically, Austin.
How's Austin? She's a little okay. She gets medication, but she's okay.
Are they keeping her overnight or?
Yeah.
She's already
All right,
home?
we'll follow up afterwards.
Yeah.
All right,
Hippo
thanks.
laws and stuff. Hippo laws and stuff. All right.
Yep.
See ya. All right, man. I'm loving how this fur is coming out now. How it feels.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, eh?
How's it going, eh? Do you think you'd ever do another course similar to acting for animation, where you take us in real time through a character scene?
Yes, I'm going to be doing. Probably this year I'll get another one of those done. I want to get another animation course done for sure this year.
It would be quite nice.
It would be quite nice. YouTube question: how did you learn and understand lighting? Do you get down to the physics, like light photons, color material interaction? A lot still goes over my head. No, I like to understand why things do what they do, but no, I don't get into it that detailed. A lot of it is just come from my observations over the years, and just coming to understand how it works with bounced light and light temperature. I've got a course where I talk about my approach to lighting, and I do touch on those aspects. It's actually one of my more popular courses too. Bum, 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 bum. Okay, let's get through this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this, eh? No COVID.
No COVID?
No COVID.
No COVID. No COVID.
Just going in and throwing in the lighter texture on his fur there. Yeah, that's feeling nice and furry, huh?
It is quite nice.
It is quite furry.
It is quite
You just want to get in there and tickle him, eh?
It is quite very near, bit.
Just going in and picking out areas that that you can emphasize just a little bit. Do you ever use your hairbrushes? Yes, I do. Not for stuff like this. I use my hairbrushes more for professional, like for character design, where I need a much more realistic texture. This to me is more of an artistic approach, and so I want to paint the fur a little bit more traditionally, I guess, is my approach there. Sometimes I'll use the fur brushes just for, screwing around, messing around, trying to come up with things here and there. But I really like the hairbrushes. I like them a lot, actually.
Which one of the new Star Wars movies is your favorite and why?
Rogue, what's it?
Rogue One?
Rogue One. Everybody dies.
That's why you love it so much?
No, I just think it's a great story.
But I love it because everybody dies. Oh yeah, the way that they laid out that story is really good.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Bob Marshall.
Hello, Faja.
Hello there.
Hi.
How's it going?
How's everybody?
Well, you say hi to the world. We're doing a live stream. Come on in and say hi.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. Got my father's here. Hello, Father.
Come on over.
Hey, Sonny.
bear?
Yep. Drawing a big bear. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
I'll blow it up for you so you can see. There he is,
Beautiful.
teaching everybody how to do fur.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Everybody, my father, Marshall Blaze,
Hello.
the place where I came from, the man I came from. Yeah, everyone's getting to meet the whole family today.
Oh.
I had the
Very.
grandkids in here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Was Dale in too?
No, Dale is out at the beach right now, photographing.
Oh.
There we go. Slowly, we're getting there.
Beautiful. Oh my God.
Thanks, Dad.
I saw you were an advisor for Pencilish. What does that entail?
I don't really have anything to do with the company. Tom came and asked me, if they, along the way, if they're doing films and they need some creative advice, would I be interested in helping them? And I told him, yes, I would help them. But from a business standpoint, I don't have anything to do with the company in that way. I'm just there as an advisor from a creative standpoint. It's been a while.
It's been a while since I could hold my head up high.
Oh yeah, this is coming out.
In case you're wondering, it's currently 2:52.
Yeah, I got about 20 minutes before I need to leave. So I gotta head out. Oh, your video is covering the drawing a bit. How about if I come up here? I'll blow it up. Sorry, Nick.
Nick,
Birch. I'm just adding little fur details on top of that looseness that I did, and it really kind of carries it, doesn't it? See? You don't have to draw every hair. You just got to draw the masses, and then you can add little accent hairs, and your brain does the rest. Yeah, this live stream has featured 4 generations of the Blaze Clan. That's true. Yep. There was my grandchildren, my son, me, and then my father. My father. The great-grandfather. He's the great-grandfather. Yeah, we had 4 generations at my house today.
What's your nickname, Bert? No, they call me Do the Thing.
Do the thing. So I'm just quickly coming in here and adding some detail. Detail. We're almost there.
Is there any way I can get out though? 'Cause I really hate to interrupt.
Yeah,
Dustin, I'm really sorry.
no problem.
I got
Dustin blocked the
out. As
cars.
usual.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Not a dull moment. But within a month or two, maybe 2 months, you're going to see us broadcasting from a whole different studio. Pretty excited about that. Fur, fur, fur. Fur, fur, fur. There we go. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I like to jump around at this stage as well. Jump around. Jump, jump, jump around.
Holy moly, has it cooled off out there.
Oh, yeah. That cold front completely pushed through now.
Yeah. I need to head home after this and grab a sweater.
Oh, yeah. It's 68 degrees there now outside.
Yeah, when I got over here,
it was
71.
Yesterday it was 80, 82.
Yeah.
We were sitting outside at 10 o'clock last night and it was 77 degrees.
I'm excited for the new studio. Can't wait to see it. Maybe we'll get a tour video?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, sure there, bud.
There's going to be room for all of us in there. Nick and I are going to be living close together. So we'll trade time between his office and my office. There's going to be so much more room for activities. Yeah, just trying to get these last little bits of detail in here very loosely. Just hold on loosely. Don't let it go.
We going to get to see Nick?
Nick, yes. Actually, yeah, because we'll do our live streams together
Yeah.
for the first time ever.
Crazy, huh?
Crazy.
Crazy.
All right, I'm going to jump over to another.
Don't get too excited. He has a pixel face. Town Nick.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do?
What are you gonna do?
You know
Huh?
what, you know
What are you
I-
gonna do?
You know what I want?
What are you
what
gonna do?
What I really, really want?
I don't know what you want. What you really
I
want.
want to hit. I want to hit. I want to hook.
Here
Here we go. I'm going to darken this area over here. There. I'm going to go up to my details. Oops. There. That feels better to me. I like that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yes.
All right, here. Now, within the shadows, you can still get fur texture.
Eric is asking, are you adding your signature lighting?
Well, I don't know if it's my signature lighting, but I'm trying to divert more attention towards the head. And it was very contrasty and kind of bright over there on the right side. I want to get like this glow in the light.
Hey, where's the one more thing? It'll get here.
All right, all right,
Alright.
all right.
Right.
Strength. I'm just going in and softening some of these areas here with my smudge tool. There, just getting that fur to feel a little more random, not so uniform. Just like that. Now let's...
How many layers have you made so far?
Probably about 15. About 15.
About 15.
About. So let's go in here now with my smudge tool. I just want to just soften some of these edges. Give it a little bit more sense of a little bit of a wee glow. I don't want it to be too soft. Just see, now is where I'm starting to think about the one more thing.
Oh, we're at that point now.
Yep, this is where you kind of look at it and you go, okay, I want to do a little bit here. Oh, maybe one more thing here. Starting to get there. All right, let's see here. Let's have a look at it.
Let's have a look at it.
Feels pretty good, yeah. So now what I want to do is I'm going to combine this with the background. I think I'm going to push the saturation. I want to have it. I want it to feel like it's got a little more color in it. Yeah, yeah. So far, so good. Now I'm going to go in And I'm going to grab a nice bright yellow, orange, sunlight color. I'm going to go to my brush. I'm going to go with a soft edge brush. I'm going to knock the opacity way down to about 14%. I'm going to go to color dodge. Whoa, that's too much. Knock that down. Well, let's put the pressure sensitivity on. There we go. I want to get this kind of hot in here. A little bit hot in here.
A little toasty.
Seems like we're getting a little bit hot tonight.
Oh, my.
So I'm just adding light by adding this color dodge. I'm able to burn in some color, some brightness in here. Hit some areas there. What I don't like right now is how yellow those highlights came out. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase it back, but I'm going to set my eraser with a little bit of pressure sensitivity. I can erase it back to the layer I have underneath. That feels a little better. I think now that I've got this nice bright here, I go back to normal and grab my brush. What happened to Keen Eye's parents in Brother Bear? Hey, it was the Ice Age. It was a rough life. Actually, in the older version, he had his father. His father was there. His father's name was Chilkoot. Twitch comment. Looks awesome, Aaron. Also, I want to say it's interesting the way you're flipping the images horizontally while you work on it. Yeah, the reason I do is it gives me a fresh perspective. So I'm just getting a little highlight in the, it still feels like too much. I'm just going to leave it out. Yeah, just going to leave it out. So there we go. I think we're there, except for a little signature. A signature.
A signature.
A signature. There we go. There's our bear. Our furry bear. We did that pretty quick. We did it in 2 hours. Do you ever use your hairbrushes? No. Do you think you could draw Dustin without reference? Yes. I think I could. But not today. YouTube comment. Dustin, I just followed you on Instagram. Admittedly, I haven't looked into your photography until today, but it's fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Great work. So there it is. There is our drawing for the day. I'm actually quite happy. I love doing fur like this. Treat it loose. Don't get into drawing individual pieces of hair until the end. You're really drawing your masses, and you highlight and you draw shadow. The masses create shadows, create the textures, and then you slowly break it down and get more and more detailed. But there you go. There is our grizzly bear. So remember, I've got a brand new course coming out on March 19th, and you can go over to creatureartteacher.com and you can pre-order it right now at 40% off. It's my course on drawing clear expressions. This is going to be a big one. I think it's there's a lot of need for it out there. I have a lot of people asking me how I approach drawing expressions and the muscles of the face and how it works and all these different things. And so I'm going to include all that information in this course. It's probably going to be about a 10-hour course, maybe 12 hours. I'm not sure. But we're just Dustin and I are in the middle of creating it right now. and we're off to a good start, and we'll have it to you on March 19th. But if you go over to creatureartteacher.com now, you can get that pre-ordered, and you can save 40% off of when we release it. And also, don't forget my live event is March 20th, the next day on Saturday. I'm going to be sitting down and doing watercolor paintings, animal portraits in watercolor. And so you can follow along with me. Once again, it's another thing. I've had a lot of interest in watercolor, and obviously I do a lot of animals, and people have been interested in that. So I'm combining the two together, and we're going to be painting some animal portraits in watercolor. So I'm really going to have a good time on March 20th. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. And, you know, all it takes, if you want to learn how to draw fur or anything like that, if you have an animal, if you have a dog or a cat, you know, take some photos of them. Sit down and draw them live while they're sleeping. Whatever it takes, and experiment with drawing fur, because it's not easy, but once you get the hang of it, it's kind of a lot of fun, and it's very satisfying. So until next week, I guess, right? I got to go to the airport. Actually, I got to leave now. So go out, put some beauty back into the world, and I'll talk to you next week. Thanks so much for watching, you guys.
Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. And for any of you guys that are interested in any wildlife photography, for any of you guys that are new here, you can check out my Instagram over at Dustin_Blaze. And actually just posted a new photo earlier today of a beautiful common egret. Hope you enjoy that. And also over at CreatureArtTeacher.com, you can find photo reference packs that would be very useful of gators and otters and great blue herons, among many other types of Florida wildlife. So be sure to go over there, check all that stuff out. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great weekend. See you guys next week. And as always, Cowboy Bebop. Later.